Hi everybody, this our video lecture will be devoted to introduction of orthopedic structures by thermoforming, proform device, methods of manufacturing various designs from standard laminate plates. Dentists in their practice are constantly looking for new methods that would improve their practice and diversify the number of services that they can offer to society. Older services which took up most of the dentist's time, were superseded by newer warning techniques, vacuum molder, and the plastics that are used with it are an important part of this new warning services. They provide the dentistry profession with fast and expensive new methods and materials that simplify many more archaic processes used in the past, increasing the number of services at the paramount advantage of vacuum molder. These machines allow the professional dentist to quickly make protective mouth guards, bleaching trays, night mouth guards, and etc. The ability of vacuum molder to quickly and efficiently duplicate the model in plastic has result in cost-saving procedures. The older method of manufacturing fixtures consisting of acrylic painting, curing, trimming, and fitting. The whole process took a lot of time. Newer vacuum forming techniques are faster, cleaner, and more efficient. New technique production of tires for the joint of the lower joint, temporomandibular joint, the first example of saving time. The old tire manufacturing method usually took about 45–60 minutes work. With the new double laminate, double rolling plastic, a rigid, patient-friendly tire with a soft lining may be made in 10 minutes. Vacuum molders use a variety of plastics to produce various dental supplies. There are two main types of materials, two main types of plastics. They're called ractoplastics and thermoplastics. Ractoplastics, materials, the processing of which into products is accompanied by chemical reactions of polymer formation, curing. In this case, the plastic loses its ability to soften when reheated. These are irreversible materials, for example, acrylic plastics. Thermoplastics. These plastics are part of a group known as thermoplastics, which differ from thermosetting plastics or ractoplastics in that they soften when heated and then harden again when cooling, taking the final shape. This thermal property allows the vacuum molder to heat material and pour it into the right place before the plastic hardens and will take the final form. In addition to the thermal characteristics, each plastic has a specific polymer component. These polymers, for the most part, are organic substances characterized by molecules of large size. Most of them are made synthetically and considered inert and non-toxic. Various additional various additional components are added to this base polymer in order to change or characteristics when processing or parameters at the end of use or its color. Exactly a combination of polymer and various additives gives each plastic its unique features. There are literally millions of possible combinations for different types of plastics, but those used in dentistry are relatively limited. Polyethylene. They're the most mass-produced plastics in the world. They were developed in Germany in the 30s of previous century, of the 12th century, and continue to be the main plastic used in the modern world. They are produced by polymerizing ethylene CH2CH2 at high or low pressure, which comes with the help of catalysts and seeds. The resulting plastic contains a repeating sequence, CH2, CH2. These polyethylenes are grouped into three main categories: low density, linear, and high density. Due to change, plasticizer density can be modified, among other properties of polyethylene. Areas of its use include mouth guards, orthodontic repositioners, night guard tires, night cups, devices for maintaining interdental spaces, fluoride trays. Polyvinyl chloride. This is the second largest consumer in the world. They're obtained by polymerizing a gaseous vinyl chloride monomer by suspension, emulsification, dissolution, or bulk processing. The repeating polymer chain is CH2CH chlorine. The presence of the chlorine molecule in the hydrocarbon skeleton creates rigidity and strength. Addable to PVC plasticizer give flexibility and improve fluidity or temperature characteristics. The main application in the field of dentistry stars double laminates, manufacture of latches, and orthodontic retention holding devices. Polypropylene. Polypropylene, this is the type of plastic ranks fourth in the world and the gross output plastic. It contains a repeating chain, CH2, CH, CH3, and is produced by polymerization of propylene, catalyzed with metal salts and alcohols. Its main use in the field of dentistry, in the cases of production temporary crowns and bridges, temporary orthodontic constructions, but it's also for ceilings, crown shapes, and modeling sheet. Polystyrene. These plastics are hard materials that can be identified by the characteristic metallic sound produced when drop them to a hard surface. They are produced by polymerization of styrene when using peroxide as an initiator. Duplicate chain CH2CH6H5 is a characteristic of this product. These styrenes usually have good impact resistance and stability. Therefore, they're widely used for customized impression trays and base dentures. Next one is polycarbonates. This plastic has formed an important niche in the field of engineering for windows, shields, and doors, and etc. They are very transparent, durable, and are physiological inert material. Polycarbonates are produced based on photogen and bisphenol A and are characterized by the group of O, COO. The main area of their application in dentistry is the manufacture of temporary crowns and bridges, tooth mouth guards, gingival mouth guards, surgical templates, that's very important, and retainers. Vacuum molder, this is device consists of top heating element on the top of it, plate holding frame for lamina, hex stand, little table for models, and logo vacuum engine with two buttons, vacuum and heat. It has additional devices, pressure dome, milling cutter for cutting finished wheel shape forms with special thread, scissor for plates and polishing wheels. Here you can see scissors and other devices. Let's speak about stages of general thermoforming procedure. The first is imprinting. is making an impression. It's mainly alginate material. You make an impression, then you make gypsum model. Then you select the thermoplate. Fix the plate into the frame, heat it under heating element, and lower the frame with the plate and applying vacuum or pressure, or vacuum and pressure. Then circumcision and finalization of the structure. Gypsum model preparation is one of the most important part to get a good accessory using vacuum molding. Factors that contribute to the manufacture of a good model are vertical height, model height, base area, and material of the model. First, the vertical height of the model height, results provided by the molded vacuum way adaptation associated with the vertical height of the model relationship. As the vertical height increases from the edges of the cutter of the base of the model, the amount of pressure or suction suitable for molding accessories is reduced. This results in poorly fitted accessories. The second factor on which the height of the model affects, this is the deformation of thermoplastics. As the plastic height increases, should deform to a greater degrees, which leads to thinning and weakening of the material of the final accessory. Base area, this is the second part. The larger the base area, the greater the number of suction opening is covered. And therefore, suction suitable for plastic deformation is reduced highly. Key to the solution of this problem is to make as little as possible bases in order to get the most out of the vacuum molder, or to make a fenestrated model. And this is not a problem for vacuum molders using pressure, but that is much more expensive. And the third part, this is the material of the model. Models can be made of a variety of materials, stone, gypsum, even acrylic. With each of this material, the density of the model changes. The higher the density, the harder it becomes to create pressure for the model using vacuum type machines. This is three solutions to this problem. Use vacuum pressed based molders, but are usually more expensive. Drill a hole to use fenestrated model in the area of palate or tongue to facilitate suction in these vacuum pockets. Use gypsum models. This is third variant. Gypsum is the porous material, and vacuum molder will be able to create a vacuum right for the model. Let's discuss basic technique when you want to use this vacuum molder. The same base technique is used for all accessories. The sequence of operations begins with the manufacture of the model. Then a lamina of thermoplastic is selected. Heated under a heating element, apply pressure to deform the plastic in the shape of the model, and finally the device is cut to give the final shape. The main difference between fixtures in the choice of material and final finishing method. After filling and trimming the model, turn on the heating element of the vacuum molder and let machine warm for 2 or 3 minutes. Here it's on. Then process the model and frame with a spray of silicone to reduce sticking. Put your chosen thermoplastic lamina, you choose it, into the frame. Here you can see it. The screw is released. You open your frame and put your chosen thermoplastic lamina into the frame and let the material warm. You mount it and then splint heating. Each material has a different thermal characteristics so that the heating time will vary depending on the type of plastic. Let the material heat up and sag. Thin material, such as material for tires or floors with thickness of 0.5 millimeters, they will sink quite a bit before they're ready, 0.6, 1.3 centimeters. Thicker material, such as material for 3.8 millimeter thick trays or protective caps, material sag a greater distance before being ready, 1.3 2.5 centimeters. The more material sags, the finer it becomes. And after the material is heated and sagged, lower the frame on the model and turn on the vacuum molder. Here it is. Let the suction do your work 20 to 30 seconds for the best application to the model. This working time depends on the type of plate you use, of lamina you use. For even better adaptation, take a damp cloth and squeeze the material according to the model without turning off a vacuum engine. Allow the material to cool on the model. Cooling time will vary depending on materials. To speed up the cooling process, place a plastic mold and model into the cold water. Then remove accessory from the model. Scissors for crowns and bridges are well suited for lighter and thinner materials. For more thick and hard materials, should use wheel saw or burn for cutting acrylic. Finish processing accessories using a technique described in every instruction to the different materials you use. You can read it there. Each section contains a brief description of accessories, a list of recommended tools, and step-by-step description of the manufacturing procedure. Thermoforming structures. We can use application area of different materials. Now we'll discuss some of them. First, for example, polystyrene plate. It's very thick plate, about 4 millimeters, and we can use it for individual spoon. You make an impression from a toothless jaw, anatomic impression, but you need a functional impression. And then after you cast model, you put this polystyrene plate in the vacuum molder and make an individual spoon. And with the help of it, you can make a functional impression from your toothless jaw of your patient. Mouth guards, protective mouth guards, as well as mouth guards for whitening, and remineralizing therapy are the most popular applications of the Proform. Protective mouth guards are an important aspect of preventive dentistry. With the advent of increasingly sophisticated equipment at all levels in all sports, it's very important that professional dentistry provides its knowledge-based look for cap design. Individually made protective caps fit much better, providing the greatest star protection, and it's easiest to breathe with them. Tools that are used to do it: protective cap material, sheet resin monomer, LectureProform, silicone grease, scissors for crowns and bridges, micro blowtorch, and turning circle. Methodology. How to make a protective mouth guard. Before starting the manufacture of protective mouth guards, best to remove palatal part models to ensure good adaptation to the anterior teeth. Put the burn material into the frame and heat until there is a slack of 2.5 centimeters, both sheet resin and laminate flooring. Spray silicone onto the model and place it onto the vacuum platform. Lower the material onto the model. If using laminate, position the bracket Proform about 3 mm from the incisor edges on the palatal side on the front teeth. After positioning the model, turn on vacuum molder and let the suction run for the period from 30 to 60 seconds. Allow the device to cool in the air for 10 minutes or place into the ice water for cooling. To avoid warping and deformation of the completed fixture, don't remove a protective cap from the model while the material is still hot. Carefully pruning, remove the mouthpiece from the model using crowns and scissors bridges. Make sure you cut around the central bridle and side bridles to provide patient convenience. After trimming to the desired shape, reinstall the tool on the model and use micro soldering lamp to chamfer the edges in the gingival areas and smooth them. Final cleaning and polishing can be done with a circle covered and a short nap fabric. The second most common use of Proform, the polycarbonate plate with the foam lining for bleaching. It's bleaching laminate. Whitening trays are required for new hole whitening techniques that have been developed in dentistry nowadays. Many materials may be used for this, but there's the best suited area. Whitening laminate 0.5 or 0.8 millimeters thick flooring material and soft EVA 2.5 millimeter thick. This material works by holding the bleach near the teeth due to the presence of an absorbent, here it is, here you can see it, layer, and thus allowing the bleach work on enamel. And the last one. Here are two types of vacuum formers you can buy and use. The first type is a vacuum type. Vacuum type machines have an upper heating element with, like a Proform, with a lower vacuum engine that produces a downward pulling action on plastic. The thermoplastic is heated until the temperature of its thermal expansion is reached. The material begins to deform and then pressure is created using a vacuum engine located under the model to give the plastic its final form. Vacuum type machines vary mainly in size, vacuum engine, and heating element power. And the second type, the press type, it's more expensive, but they're more effective. Press-type machines have a hidden element that removes with plastic and then applies downward pressure at the same time on thermoplastic and model. The thermoplastic is heated for a certain time. It begins to deform and then applied from above pressure to press the plastic against the model. Like vacuum machines type, these machines vary depending on the pressure they can generate and the fixtures attached to the machine. Thank you for paying attention. Bye.